Hello friends, good morning. Welcome to all of you in my first video lecture. Today we are going to start from intensity distribution in the topic wave optics, which is continuation of subunit Young's double slit experiment. Before we saw, we will recall some points which we have seen in the previous lecture. First point is Brewster's law. What is Brewster's law? The tangent of polarizing angle is equal to refractive index of refracting medium at which partial reflection takes place. Mathematical equation is given by tan theta b is equal to mu, means here tan theta b is equal to n2 upon n1, where theta b is the Brewster's angle. Next point is interference of light. What is the interference of light? Modification in the intensity of light or redistribution of light energy produced by superposition of two or more light waves is called interference of light. Then next is coherent sources. The two sources which emit waves of same frequency having a constant phase difference independent of time are called as a coherent sources. Next is constructive interference, means the point at which crest of one wave coincides with the crest of another wave, or trough of one wave coincides with the trough of another wave, and the displacement at that point becomes maximum. This is called as a constructive interference. Next is destructive interference. The point at which crest of one wave coincides with the trough of another wave, or vice versa. At that point displacement is zero, and this point is called as a destructive interference. Then next one is fringe width. The distance between the two successive bright or dark fringes is called as a fringe width. Then next one is equation of position of nth minima. For the constructive interference, we have path difference between the waves is given by yn into small d divided by capital D is equal to n lambda. Means here small yn is equal to lambda capital D divided by small d. This is the equation of nth maxima. Equation of position of nth minima is, for the destructive interference we have the condition path difference between the waves is given by yn small d divided by capital D is equal to n minus 1 half into lambda. Means here for nth minima yn is equal to n minus 1 half lambda capital D divided by small d. These are some points which we have seen in the previous lecture. And today we are going to start. The first point in this topic is intensity distribution. The next one is conditions for obtaining well-defined interference pattern. Third is methods for obtaining coherent sources. And last one in this first video is optical path. Then let's see, the first point is intensity distribution. To solve this intensity distribution, let us consider this figure. Here the 2 point sources S1 and S2, which are separated by distance small d. Here the waves which are emitting from these two sources are given by equation E1 is equal to E0 sin omega t and E2 is equal to E0 sin omega t plus phi. Phi is the phase difference between these two waves. Then the resultant electric field at point P is given by addition of these two equations is given by E is equal to E0 sin omega t plus E0 sin omega t plus phi. Then after solving this equation we get the equation twice E0 cos phi by 2 into sin omega t plus phi by 2. Then here the amplitude of the wave is given by twice E0 cos phi by 2. The intensity at point P is proportional to amplitude square, means twice E0 cos phi by 2 square will be equal to 4 E0 cos square phi by 2. When amplitude of the waves coming from two slits are different, say E1 and E2, then at the center of bright fringes amplitude will be addition of these two, E1 plus E2, and intensity is proportional to E1 plus E2 square. while at the center of dark fringes intensity will not be zero, means here will be proportional to E1 minus E2 square. This is the equation for intensity distribution. We will again revise it. The equations for the electric field at point P, which are coming from these two sources S1 and S2, are given by E1 is equal to E0 sin omega t and E2 is equal to E0 sin omega t plus phi. The resultant electric field at point P is given by the addition of these two equations. We get twice E0 cos phi by 2 into sin omega t plus phi by 2. Here amplitude is given by twice E0 cos phi by 2. Intensity is proportional to amplitude square. Then intensity will be equal to 4 E0 cos square phi by 2. If these amplitudes are different, then at the center of bright fringes we will get the amplitude will be E1 plus E2 and intensity will be E1 plus E2 bracket square, and at the center of dark fringes intensity will be 0, will not be 0 since the amplitudes are not same, means here proportional to E1 minus E2 square. The next point is conditions for obtaining well defined steady interference pattern. First condition is two sources of light must be coherent. We will see what are the coherent sources. What are coherent sources? Two sources of light must be emitting the waves of equal frequency, which are always in phase or with a constant phase difference, are called as a coherent sources. For this, it is necessary that these two sources should be derived from the same original source. The changes in phase of original source are simultaneously produced in the virtual or secondary sources and hence maintained a constant phase difference. This condition must be satisfied to obtain steady interference pattern. The next is two sources must be monochromatic. Monochromatic source means light is having only one wavelength. When light sources are not monochromatic, then the sources emit light waves of more than one wavelength. There may be constructive interference at one point due to one wavelength and destructive interference at the same point due to another wavelength. This gives diffused or indistinct interference pattern. The next one is two interfering waves must have same amplitude. Means here we know that the intensity of bright and dark fringes have been given as A1 plus A2 bracket square, means amplitude of these two waves and their square, and A1 minus A2 bracket square respectively, where A1 and A2 denotes the amplitude of these two waves. If A1 is equal to A2, then maximum contrast will be obtained as the dark fringes will have zero intensity. If A1 is not equal to A2, then intensity in the interference pattern will be vary from maximum to minimum but not become zero. Therefore, contrast will be reduced and interference pattern will become less sharp. The next one is the separation between two slits must be small. The separation between these two slits, if it is small, the sources are sufficiently close to each other, then interference fringes are widely spaced and can be clearly seen. The two sources should be narrow. These two slits should be narrow. If these two sources are broad, the waves starting from different points on the sources travel a different distance to reach the same point on the screen. These waves will interfere with one another and their own interference pattern will be obtained. The resultant interference pattern so obtained will not be clear and distinct. On the contrary, there may be uniform illumination. The next one is two waves should be in the same state of polarization. These are some points which are the conditions for obtaining a well-defined steady interference pattern. Then next one is methods for obtaining coherent sources. There are two methods. First one is Lloyd's mirror. This one is the figure. Here in this figure there is a real source. The light coming from the source is made to fall on a plane at grazing angle as shown in figure. Here the rays, this is the real source and the light from this source is incident on this plane mirror, and then light from the source is made to fall on the plane at grazing angle as shown in figure. Some of light falls directly on the screen and some light falls after reflection from the mirror. This one is the light. This is reflected. The reflected light appears to come from the two virtual sources. So we get the two sources, and here they are derived from the single source and hence they are coherent sources. They interfere and interference pattern is obtained as in figure. This is the first method to obtain the coherent sources. Then next one is Fresnel biprism. This is the figure. Here this is the biprism. This biprism is a prism having a very large refracting angle about 180 degree. It appears to be made up of two acute angled prism joined base to base. And in the experiment, refracting edge of the biprism is parallel to the length of the slit as shown in figure. When monochromatic light is made to pass through the narrow slit, two halves of the prism forms two virtual images S1 and S2. These are two coherent sources obtained from a single source. Here the light from this source are intersect on this biprism. After refracting, we will get S1 and S2. These are the two virtual sources which are obtained from the single source S, and therefore two waves coming from two sources interfere with each other and gives a steady interference pattern as shown in figure. This is the second method to obtain the coherent sources. Then next one is optical path. We have to derive the equation for optical path. For this, let us consider kx minus omega t is the phase of light wave in vacuum along the x direction, in which k is equal to omega upon v, where v is the speed of the wave, which is c in vacuum. If the light wave travels a distance delta x, its phase changes by delta phi is equal to k into delta x, where k is equal to omega upon v. Putting this value, we get omega delta x divided by v. If light wave is traveling in a medium of refractive index n, then its vector is k dash, wave vector k dash, and angular frequency are related by k dash is equal to omega upon v, which is equal to omega divided by c by n. V is the speed of wave in the medium. Thus, if wave travels a distance delta x in this medium, the phase difference will be delta phi dash is equal to k into delta x dash, which is equal to omega n delta x upon c, which is omega delta x dash upon c. This one is the first equation. Since delta x dash is equal to n into delta x, when wave travels a distance delta x in a medium of refractive index n, its phase changes by the same amount as it travels a distance n delta x in vacuum. Thus, the path length of delta x in a medium of refractive index n is equivalent to path length n into delta x in vacuum. N delta x is called as optical path traveled by the wave. The effective path traveled by the light in vacuum to generate the same phase difference is called as optical path through the medium. This is the definition of optical path. The effective path traveled by the light in vacuum to generate the same phase difference is called as optical path through the medium. The optical path in vacuum is equal to actual path traveled as n is equal to 1. Thus, the optical path in a medium is also the path in vacuum that travels in the same time as it takes to travel in a given medium. We have the equation time is equal to distance upon speed. Then time is equal to distance in the medium divided by velocity in medium, which is equal to distance in vacuum divided by velocity in vacuum. Means optical path is equal to, which is d vacuum, which is equal to v vacuum divided by v medium into d medium. Means optical path is equal to refractive index into distance in the medium. When distance d traveled in a medium of refractive index n gives the path difference is equal to nd minus small d, means d getting a d common, d into n minus 1. In the Young's double slit experiment, if we introduce a transparent plate of refractive index n, thickness T in front of slit S1, the optical path traveled by the wave S1p is larger than by the wave S1p in the absence of plate by n minus 1 into T. Thus, path difference and phase difference between the waves reaching the midpoint O will not be equal and whole interference pattern will shift in one direction. So today we will stop at that point. Again we see the next point in the next video. So we will stop here. Okay.